Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Gray Board Gamer here with a playthrough of Red, White, and Blue Racin' from Play Games. In our last video, we wrapped up our race week activities and now our field of 43 drivers is primed and ready to tear up the track. As our race at Martinsville Speedway begins, I'll guide you through several full turns. Once we've grasped the concepts, we'll move on to the exciting part of providing highlights during the race without including every single roll of the dice. Without further delay, let's get to racing. Before we begin, let's review the track information. This card is crucial and will be referenced on every turn and for other specific occurrences. This will be a 28-turn race, indicating game turns rather than laps on the track. Each turn represents a snapshot of the action rather than events that occur on a specific lap. I'll thoroughly explain the function of the track card for the first few turns, so you can understand the information on it and how it determines the race action. The first part of each turn is the race cam phase, in which we roll the single black die along with the two gray dice. We look at the result on the black die and then consult the racetrack card. The result of 3 means we'll focus on the middle group this turn. Next, we add the two gray dice together for a result of 4. So the middle group will experience a problem this turn. First, we need to determine which driver in the middle group is having a problem. To do that, we'll use the problem results card that comes with the game. We roll our red, white, and blue dice and read them in order. First, the red and the white give us the number 13. We look for 13 on the driver finder table for the middle group, and that's driver number 1 on the odd side of the box. The car in that position is number 92, Parnell Drake. Now that we know our driver, we're going to roll again on the problem finder chart. Also, these orange fire markers you see me using throughout the game are not from this game. They're from a completely different game, but they help me keep track of stuff. The roll result is a red 2 and a white 3. That results in tire rub. Drop to the front of the bottom group. If you have pit crew A or B ranking, no tire rub. Number 92 has a pit crew rating of B, which means no tire rub, no problem. Turn 2's race cam roll results in a 4, again affecting the middle group. The two gray dice added together give us a 7, which will be the reflex quality. So we'll do a reflex quality challenge for our middle group of drivers. First, I'm going to check each driver in the middle group for the reflex quality and mark each one that does. To do this, we simply look at each driver's card. If they have the reflex quality, they're part of the challenge. And in this case, they get one of those dope fire markers that I use. If a driver is lucky enough to have a star next to the quality, they get 2 shots at it. Yep, that's 2 fire markers. For each driver, starting with the driver farthest back in that group, we will roll the red, white, and blue dice. Also note, if any time we roll the red, white, and blue dice and all 3 of them are the same, we get triples, that indicates some kind of problem. And then we would have to go to the problem chart for that driver. For our first driver, we rolled a 5, 6, 4. First thing we do is compare the red die result to the driver's gas pedal rating. The driver's gas pedal rating is represented by the squares on their card. If the number on the red die is equal to or less than the driver's gas pedal rating, we move on to the next step to see if the driver is successful in making their move. If the number on the red die is higher than the driver's gas pedal rating, we can stop right there and move on to the next driver in the group. Since 5 is higher than the gas pedal rating of 4, we move on. Next up is number 3, Aaron Hartley. With this roll, we can immediately stop when we see a 6 on the red die. That's because gas pedal ratings and brake pedal ratings, which we'll get into later, can never be higher than 5, even with modifiers. So a 6 against a gas pedal rating will always fail. Next up, number 73, Joey Plonka. This time we roll a 3, 6, 4. That 3 is less than the gas pedal rating of 4 for Joey Plonka. So we move on to the white die and see which driver we're challenging in the next group. The next group is the top group, so we look to see which driver in the top group has the 6 icon next to them since we rolled a 6 with the white die. Then we compare that driver's brake pedal rating against the blue die result. We can see here that Kevin Pettis has 1 burst symbol for his brake pedal rating. which means his rating is 1 before we add any modifiers. One modifier would be if this driver also had the reflex quality on their card. If they had the reflex quality, it would give them 1 bonus brake pedal symbol. If they had the reflex quality with a star, it would give them 2 bonus brake pedal symbols. The other modifier is any driver in the top group gets 1 bonus brake pedal symbol, and the race leader gets 2. That means Kevin Pettis has a modified brake pedal rating of 2, 1 on his card and 1 for being in the top group. The blue die was a 4, which is greater than the modified rating of 2, which normally means these 2 drivers would switch positions. But in this case, that will not happen because Kevin Pettis has a blue performance chip. One of the things that the blue performance chips can do is allow you to spend it and fend off a challenge from another driver. They spend the performance chip and fend off the challenge from Joey Plonka. I'll perform the rest of the quality challenges off camera, but I'll come back and show you any highlights that happen. Number 98 was able to successfully challenge number 17, moving Chase Fetterman to 6th place, and dropping Jordy Pettis to 16th place. 29 had a successful challenge against number 9 with his first attempt, moving Corey Wallace into 4th place, and dropping Clark Snook to 15th. But Corey was unsuccessful in his second attempt while trying to displace the leader of the race. The remaining drivers in our middle group rolled poorly and were unable to improve their positions. Turn number 3 begins with a roll of 6-1-1. The 6 means we will have a duel. We then consult the duel instigator chart with a result of 2. We have the number 2 car in the top group as the instigator. The driver in that position is number 74.
Raúl de Hoyos.
Dueling is optional. If the driver chooses to duel, they can challenge a driver within their own group, but not in the next group. Because I'm playing this solo, I've devised a method to randomly determine if a duel takes place. Before deciding if we want to engage in a duel, I set the driver's willingness to participate. To determine this, I adjust the driver's gas pedal rating based on where we are in the race. I divide the race into 3 equal parts. If we are in the first part, I don't modify the rating at all. In the second part, I increase the rating by 1, and in the final part, I add 2 to the rating, making sure that it does not exceed a rating of 5. If the roll is equal to or less than the modified gas pedal rating, the driver decides to duel. If the roll is higher, the driver decides not to duel. We're still in the first part or the first third of the race, so we will not modify his gas pedal rating of 3. We'll make a roll to see if
Raúl de Hoyos
wants to duel. And the answer is yes, he wants to duel. Before we roll to get the duel results, let me explain how a duel normally works without my house rules. Normally, the instigating driver would choose whether to duel or not. Then they would choose a target. Then after they've chosen the target within their own group, they would roll against their own gas pedal rating to see if they're successful. And that would be it. Target choice here is easy because there's only one driver in front of them within their group. Will he roll 3 or less and be successful? Nope. Because
Raúl de Hoyos
failed, we will now roll against his escape rating to see if he avoids losing control of his car during this attempt to overcome another driver. To test his escape rating, we will roll the 2 gray dice together and add them up and compare them to number 74's really good escape rating of 11. Keep in mind, because of track conditions here in Martinsville, all drivers' escape ratings are reduced by 1, which effectively gives them a 10. If the result of the roll is equal to or less than the escape rating, the driver avoids any trouble on the track and will maintain their position. If they fail the roll against their escape rating, they'll have one last attempt to stay in the race by conducting a repair roll. The repair roll will determine if the pit crew is able to repair any damage to the car and get it back out on the track. First, let's see if number 74 can roll 10 or less and escape. This result of 7 is equal to or less than 10, which means a successful escape and no further trouble. We didn't have a repair roll this time, but I'll go into more detail on repair rolls when we get into a situation that needs one. Because number 74 made this attempted move against number 77, it's going to cause a little bit of tension between them, and I'll add them both to the feuding list. This can have an impact later in the race or even in future races if we're racing a season. This will be the last race cam roll that I do on camera, but I'll let you know what the other results are at the beginning of each turn. We have a result of 4-4. That means our middle group will have a problem. Now we'll roll our red, white, blue dice to find out which driver in the middle group has the problem. We'll take the result of 3-4 and look on the driver finder table, which means the driver in the number 3 position on the even side has a problem. That driver is number 91, Marlon McGarry. We'll roll and find the result on the problem finder table. We got a result of 1-4-6. Number 91 has a cut tire and will need to move to the end of the bottom group. As he drops out to go into the pits and get that tire fixed, the rest of the drivers will have to fill in the gaps. We fill in any gaps on the board in one of two ways. The first and easiest is if there is a caution flag, every driver just slides one spot forward to fill the gaps. In our situation, number 91's tire problem did not cause a caution to come out. So first we'll slide every driver forward only in that group to fill the gaps. After we do that, we will see which driver from the next group down, in this case the bottom group, will be able to make a move into the middle group. And we do that by testing against their gas pedal rating. The first driver in the bottom group is number 79, Graham Pleasant. With a gas pedal rating of 2, we're going to roll one die, and if it's a 1 or a 2, he's successful. And he makes it. He will move forward and fill that empty spot in the middle group. All the remaining drivers in his group will slide forward and fill the gap that he left. Before we move on, let me talk about the yellow triangle symbol on number 79's card. If a driver has a yellow triangle symbol and they roll a 6 on the red die during any quality challenge or duel, then that driver's car immediately experiences a problem. In this specific case, the problem is unspecified. You don't need to go to the problem table. You just go directly to a repair roll to see if the driver will stay in the race. All the cars are in position and we're ready to start turn number 5, which will be in the next video. Hope to see you then. Take care, everyone.